welcome back to the Purple Chair. My name's Alya Harding. I am joined with another special guest, Elise, and today we're going to be talking about domestic violence and some of the impacts it has had on BAME women. When I was reading the report, one statistic that stood out to me was where women are most likely to seek support. An astonishing 71% of women said that they would seek support in a relative or friend. And this just links back into the whole element or the whole role that culture plays in keeping victims of domestic abuse silenced. Yeah. So I don't know if silenced by honour comes into it, if it falls more on that, or if it falls badly on public services such as the police, such as national helplines, such as women organisations, and their lack of cultural understanding. So I think there's definitely more research that needs to be done, as if that is the case, 71% of women are seeking support from people close to them. Why is that? Is it due to tradition, or do they not feel welcome to seek support within public support, basically?
Yeah, I think it could be a combination of both.
On that note, I would like to bring awareness to two conventions. One is the Istanbul Convention, and then there is the CEDAW framework. Both resources that can provide foundation when supporting the progression of women and ending violence against them. So when it comes to the Istanbul Convention, the Council of Europe Istanbul Convention is a human rights treaty and the first international instrument to prevent and combat gender-based violence. 1 in 3 women in the EU are said to have experienced physical and or sexual violence. This convention has been signed by all EU member states, and by accepting the Istanbul Convention, governments are obliged to change their laws, introduce practical measures, and allocate resources to effectively prevent and combat violence against women. However, 7 member states, which include the UK, have yet to ratify the convention, which means it is not yet legally binding. The other resource is the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, an international treaty adopted by the United Nations General Assembly, made up of 189 parties from all over the world, who recognise the importance of gender equality. In other words, the convention is firmly based on the premise that violence against women cannot be eradicated without investing in gender equality. Unlike the Istanbul Convention, CEDAW is non-binding, which means there is no concrete duty for parties to fulfil. However, what CEDAW does provide is a framework that is internationally recognised and scopes to address discrimination at a community and institutional level. While both conventions provide foundation to advance the rights of women, a common issue that we see across governments and with policymakers is that it's so easy to sign on and say, wow, this sounds great, I want to be a part of this change. But how are they implementing their promises? If gendered issues continue to be unrecognised within law, this leaves room for crimes to go unnoticed and unpunished. For example, if countries do not acknowledge non-binary people, how will they be protected by the law if they are victims of domestic abuse?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And I think it's particularly pertinent when we're talking about non-physical abuse. For example, coercive control, that's been outlawed in the UK, and the law recognises coercive control as a form of abuse in intimate partner relationships. Now, if a country does not recognise same-sex inter-partner relationships, how can it recognise coercive control in that sense? So
yeah,
this really does intersect with so many other issues, particularly concerning LGBT rights, etc. So yeah, it's definitely needs to be extended in the way that we talk about domestic abuse.
Thank you, Elise. I feel like you've just brought so many, like, people are going to watch this and be like, wow, these are the next steps we need to take, not only as individuals but collectively, like really applying a holistic approach into ending violence against women and girls, and particularly supporting victims of domestic abuse. I think that, you know, working as a council and being, I guess, a support, I would like to say, I feel like you are a support for many young women in the community. What is some advice that you would share with young women, particularly women who are maybe experiencing their first serious relationship or dating at the moment?
A vital piece of information that I would give is to please maintain your support system. You know, the relationships that you had before entering a relationship, a romantic relationship, I should say, maintain them, feed them, water them, your friendship groups, and also, you know, your family, your relatives. Maintain those relationships. Do not isolate yourself. Don't allow yourself to be isolated from those people. You know, we know that often a tactic of abusers is to isolate you from that support system, for the very reason that if you ever find yourself questioning whether the relationship feels right, whether, you know, he did this to me, is that right, you can lean on them. And if you ever feel that way, lean on them, because they should be there. I would also say, when entering a relationship, never sacrifice who you were before it. Don't ever attempt to change for your partner's, you know, wishes or desires. You know, your hobbies, your social life, who you were before that relationship, maintain that. Don't allow your identity to be sacrificed for the sake of a romantic relationship. It will never be worth it, and it also could turn out to be an abusive situation. I would also say, you know, keep your sensitive financial information private. Never be convinced that in a romantic relationship you must sacrifice your financial information for the sake of it, or for the sake of a good and healthy relationship. We do sometimes see that women, because they're women and they are expected to be submissive to a man, or, you know, particularly in heterosexual relationships, a woman is expected to give over control of her finances to the man, simply because, you know, he is the man and head of the household, etc., and those sort of beliefs. And also, a final piece of information is, you know, pay attention to how you feel about yourself. You know, if you feel, you know, you're in a relationship and you feel, you know, your confidence has gone down. I'm such a different person from who I was before. I used to be a confident person. Now I feel degraded and belittled. Consider that this is a sign of abuse. You know, constantly degrading someone. Now, whether this even be a romantic relationship, or, you know, or maybe it's parental relationship, familial relationship, degrading someone, belittling someone is not a personality trait. It's just a sign of abuse.
Yeah. I think I'm just going to end it by saying something very simple, but if you are in this situation, just know that your life is worth so much more, and you deserve to be happy, you deserve to live freely, and yeah, your life is worth something. So definitely look into ways you can seek support. We are going to add a slide of some services that may be of use to you, so be sure to check those out. And Elise, thank you so much for being a part of this video. You've just brought so much knowledge, and I'm so grateful that I've got to do this video with you. Yeah, I really appreciate your time. Is there any last comments you would like to make?
No, just thank you, Alya. It's been amazing talking to you, and all the knowledge you've brought, especially with the network as well. We all appreciate what you've been doing in Europe. And yeah, it's been great to talk to you. And thanks to anyone watching.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.